Hi guys. So I've been wanting to make this video for a long time. I don't like usually talking about serious stuff, but it's been almost a year now since I had my partial hysterectomy in August of last year. And I kind of want to make this video hopefully to help someone else. I've always had problems with female parts, my uterus, ovaries. I was diagnosed with PCOS in 2017. At the age of 20, I decided I didn't want children. I kind of made my mind up. I've been having trouble all the time with menstrual cycles and cysts and just heavy bleeding and then not bleeding and just problems my whole life. So I was begging my doctor. I'm like, please, I just want to, hysterectomy, just take everything out. I'm tired of dealing with this. I was 20 years old. Of course, doctors were like, no, you're too young. You may change your mind and want children later. And I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with this anymore. So fast forward to 2022, I was having a lot of bleeding and I was getting frustrated. I had just gotten married a year before that. So it was getting in the way of stuff. So went to my gynecologist and I didn't see my normal gynecologist, all a different doctor. And she's like, oh, let's try birth control. She's like, I see that you have PCOS. I did a biopsy in 2017 too. Nothing came back. I was fine. I just had a really thick lining. So she's like, oh, let's try the birth control. So I tried it for probably 6 months and it did work. It did stop my menstrual cycle. It was great not having a menstrual cycle. I've been my period was always sporadic. It was never consistent. I never knew when it was going to start, never knew when it was going to end. It was just all over the place. So I was having slight bleeding after 6 months after taking birth control. I'm like, okay, this is weird. It wasn't very heavy, very light, just enough to be annoying to where you had to wear like a liner. So I went back and I'm like, look, I don't want to see that doctor again. I don't want to be pushed on birth control. That's a whole another, list of issues that you have with birth control. So I wanted to see my regular gynecologist again. So we did the pap smear, everything came back fine, but I was just like, something doesn't feel right. So I was having this weird, bleeding, and I did notice a weird kind of pain. It was very different from your regular period cramps. It was almost like a burning sensation in your uterus area, like a burning, tearing, just not normal feeling. And I'm I just knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. And so I did blood work, I did the pap smear, everything came back normal. So my doctor was like, okay, let's do a biopsy. And I'm like, oh, gosh, I don't want to do a biopsy again. They are extremely painful. They don't give you pain meds for those. You basically just have to grin and bear it. Basically, it was the worst pain ever. But, so yeah, you have to insert this medication to open up your cervix and yeah, all this stuff. And there's no pain medication. So it feels like you're having contractions from labor. That's what it basically feels like. So I did the biopsy and of course the doctor calls me, a lot earlier than my scheduled appointment was for the results. And she's like, hey, I want you to come in today. And I'm like, oh no, that's not good. That's not good. So I'm crying, I'm calling my mom and I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong. I know it. She wouldn't tell me to come in this soon when my appointment was 2 days later. So I go in and they said that they found, the early stages of cancer. It was actually cancer. Very early stages though. It was grade stages, not stage 1 or stage 2. It was grade A or something like that. I didn't know they even had grades of cancer. So she's like, I don't know what's going on, because she told me that I was the 5th person that she diagnosed last year in my age group, which is age 35 to 40. And so she was just almost in tears, which was really surprising to me. I've never seen a doctor kind of get that emotional before, but she was like, I don't know what's going on. Something's going on. I mean, she asked me if I had COVID. I said yes. She asked me if I had the vaccines. I said yes. She's like, I don't know what is going on, but she's like, I really think I need to change my screening process. She's like, you're the 5th person I diagnosed in less than a year. And so she was really upset. She's like, I don't know what's going on now. Something's wrong. So I'm I was upset, but I was relieved that I knew what was happening. I kind of was grateful that I got this diagnosis. I'm finally I can have this hysterectomy that I've been wanting since I was 20 years old. I'm 36 now. So, I scheduled the surgery super quickly. It was 3 weeks later, I was already scheduled to have the surgery done. I'm so grateful to the doctors I have. They really saved my life. They really did. And my doctor was persistent on getting the biopsy done. I kind of didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it again. It was painful. I didn't want to go through that whole mess because I'm like, oh, you're not going to find anything. I've been doing my pap smears every year. I've been getting blood tests and everything. I don't know what else you could find. So yeah, so she pushed me to get the biopsy, and I'm so grateful I did. And it was very early stages. So the doctor that did the surgery said that I do have PCOS 100%. I had endometriosis 100%, which you can't get diagnosed with endometriosis without doing exploratory surgery. So while she was in there, she did see, yes, I had endometriosis. So I was dealing with that my whole life too, without really even knowing it. I did keep my ovaries though, because it does provide a lot of hormones that are beneficial. I didn't want to go into menopause just yet. But it's been a long journey. This year's been rough. It's been rough since the surgery, just trying to heal. And I don't feel 100% still. And, you know, people are like, oh, you should be feeling good now. It's like, I kind of don't. I kind of regret keeping my ovaries. I kind of wish I did take them out now, because I am getting cysts on them more frequently than I was before. So now I have to do like regular cancer screenings every 2 months, transvaginal ultrasounds every 2 months. So that's been not fun. But like the first like month and a half, I was in so much pain after the surgery. Some people bounced right back. I took a while. I had to take all my 3 weeks of vacation from work. It was agonizing. It was not easy for me to heal. I did the laparoscopic surgery with the robot that left like 5 little arms, 5 little incisions in your stomach, and you know, it's all robotic done. And the healing time is supposed to be faster that way, which probably was, but I just wasn't recovering as quickly as I wanted it to be. But I am just so grateful that I listened to my body. And that's basically the message I want to say is listen to your body, because you never know what's going on. You kind of know in the back of your mind. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore your symptoms, your problems. Go get checked out. Like, they literally saved my life. They really did. That's really what I just wanted to say on here. I have medical bills that are like, you know, stacked to the ceiling. So I'm dealing with that too after all this time. I'm curious to know if anyone else has had the same type of situation, who've just had a hysterectomy. I feel like there's a lot of people now that are getting diagnosed with different kinds of cancers, especially female cancers. And they're like younger and younger, people that are getting diagnosed too. And it's scary. It's super scary. You know, what are we putting in our bodies? What are we doing that's causing this? It's kind of terrifying. So yeah, I'm grateful that I never wanted children, but I can't even imagine the women who do and who have to go through stuff like this. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. But the cyst that they found was basically the same size as my uterus. Luckily, it didn't grow inside the wall. My uterus was like 10%, so I don't have to do any chemotherapy or anything like that. So I was just so grateful that I found it so early. And I just basically listened to my intuition and my body. I'm like, something is wrong, and just get to the bottom of it. Do the test, do the biopsies. Don't be afraid. Just get it done, especially if you think something is wrong. So thank you guys for listening to my story, and I hope I help someone.